We're in Way Media.
Right, Mr. Walters?
You see that guy over there? Now, he's an actor. The guy on the phone, he's a prize fighter. Me, I'm a cab driver. I'm the only cab driver in this place.
Good evening and welcome to Night Mr. Walters, a taxi podcast. I'm HP, your co-host, and with me, as always, is my other co-host, Father Malone. Father Malone, how are you this evening?
The end is nigh.
Simple.
That's how I'm doing.
Straight to the point. Let's not mess around. Let's jump right in. This is Taxi Season 4, Episode 11. I Want to Be Around. Written by Glenn Charles and Les Charles, the Charles Boys, the pride of Henderson, Nevada, of course. And it's directed by James Burrows. Now, before we get started, Father Malone, I have a couple of announcements. These are in no particular order, but we have to sort of address this. First off, I want to give a shout out to listener William Corey, Father Malone. Unfortunately, we missed an episode drop or two of Night Mr. Walters, and William was kind enough to reach out and ask about what was happening, asking after us. And I've probably mentioned before, but this podcast is a true labor of love for myself and for Father Malone. We do this because it's fun, and we do it because we hope that we're making life a little bit happier for our listeners in this often challenging time that we're living in right now. And to have a listener take time from their own busy day to check up on us meant a great deal to both of us. And if it weren't for you all, it would just be Father Malone and myself just shouting into dead microphones. And
We
I
do
say
that
this
anyway, actually.
We do that. That's right. This.
I mean, let's be honest, HP. Like, if we stopped recording right now, we would just keep talking about the same bullshit.
We would be, and we'd be laughing all the while. But so I can't tell you all how much we love hearing from you. So it really touched me that William reached out, and other people, not just William, but also superfan Trish. Trish, hi, how are you? Thanks for reaching out as well. So,
What's up, Trish? By the way, I'm joining in there, and I want to say hello to Billy there as well. What's going on, bro? We're fine. We were out killing the Fantastic Four.
So the good news is that we're back on track. So thank you, William, and thank you, Trish, and all the other listeners that make this what it is for us. We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you folks listening. So thanks, everyone, and please keep listening. Now, for a bit of sad news, unfortunately, Father Malone.
This is not sad news. This is fucking devastating news.
James Burrows, the iconic director behind Taxi, Cheers, Frasier, Friends, so many other classic sitcoms, passed away on June 19th, 2026 at the age of 85 years old.
Whoa.
He was still directing as of 2025. He directed 10 episodes of a show called Mid-Century Modern, which regrettably I wasn't that familiar with, but we here at Night Mr. Walters, of course, will always be indebted to his directing on Taxi, and he directed 75 episodes in total. Now, Father Malone, according to Wikipedia, which is, of course, an unassailable source of truth, this is his second largest episode total behind, well, let me ask you, what do you think is his number one most directed sitcom?
It's either Cheers or Friends. Watch, it's gonna be Frasier. I'm gonna say Cheers.
It is Cheers. Now, do you have a guess as to how many episodes of Cheers? Now, again, I said he directed 75 episodes of Taxi, which was his second most. How many do you figure he directed on Cheers?
Let me try and do some math in this old man brain, if I may. I'd say north of 150.
That is a very good guess, and you're on the right track. He directed 237 episodes.
So he
of
directed
Cheers.
every fucking episode of Cheers, is what you just said.
I can't say that.
There are probably one or two where he was just like, guys, I need to go to Hawaii. But, but that sounds like the entirety of the series.
It was the dream of countless actors, Father Malone, to have the chance to work with Burrows, to earn the right to call him Jimmy. So for myself and for Father Malone, we wish James Burrows rest in peace. Thank you very much, Mr. Burrows. Do you have anything you want to add to that, Father Malone?
You've said it. I don't want to say anything snarky. I think he was a giant in the industry. I think it's fitting that the entire sort of sitcom three camera structure is falling apart now that he's gone. Like, why continue without him?
I think you're the one who told me, Father Malone, that he regularly appeared as himself on that show, The Comeback.
He did. He was just in the final season. And he's great in all of it. He's playing a version of himself, obviously, but you get the idea that they really nailed his character.
Yeah. Now, so it's very sad news, but we're gonna soldier forward with our
Now comes
customary...
the yucks.
That's right. Now get ready to laugh. So the customary reminder: we're doing these shows in broadcast order and not in order of filming. In this episode, Father Malone, we start in the garage, as we often do, as Jim is fiddling with the coffee machine. And Tony notices Jim struggling, and he somehow surmises that the machine is jammed, so he starts punching it. And then Alex joins in, and it becomes this... It's almost like like Stomp. Remember that show Stomp?
Oh my
where
God! Yeah,
it's like a
so
rhythmic...
terrible. Suddenly, every commercial was people opening bags of Doritos to the rhythm.
That's exactly what we have here. They're each hitting it in their own way. The coffee machine.
And a rhythm never really develops, though. Like, Banta is trying, but the other two are just not helping. So I was actually glad of that, because I was like, oh my God, is this going to be a Blue Man Group thing going here?
Kind of almost seemed to be going in that direction. But right when it seems like it's going to go off the rails, Elaine comes in and notices them all pummeling the machine and tells them they should just get a screwdriver to fix the machine.
Ooh, a screwdriver, says Reverend Jim. And I thought so, too. That's a good drink.
You talking about the drink, the screwdriver?
Oh, yeah.
Nice,
oh,
refreshing
my God. Like, one of my favorites. Absolutely.
Vodka. A little trivia note for the fans, Father Malone. I don't even know if you knew this. The first time I ever got super drunk to the point of getting sick, I was in high school. It was off of screwdrivers. We drank screwdrivers. Me and a buddy of mine just drank screwdrivers till we both got sick.
Guess what? I knew that about you, HB.
Did you?
I've
You
been your
already
friend
knew
for that fucking long, man. Come on now.
It's been a long time. And yeah, that was that the night? That was the night I think I broke my foot also. Because I'd gone up to bed and I remember he had this spiral staircase that was wooden.
Oof.
And then I was coming down the stairs and I did that thing that we all have done where you think you're hitting the last stair, but there's two
What
more
a drag.
stairs.
Yeah.
And I came down and I didn't realize it, but I broke my foot. And then I went back to try to go back to sleep and it was just like agony. So anyway, that's a little HP trivia for you all.
Stutter, stutter, crack. That's you going down the stairs.
It was, I can still remember it like it was yesterday. It was terrible. So anyway, Tony runs off to the tool room to get the screwdriver and notices that it's locked. And Jeff comes out of the cage and announces that Louie has declared the tool room off limits. First side note, Father Malone, this episode marks the biggest role yet for J. Allen Thomas's character of Jeff, which I'm sure it delighted you just like it delighted me.
Absolutely. He's just doing stuff now. He's like a character in the show all of a sudden.
He's so good. He's very deadpan and natural. I don't know what his background is, and I can't say I've seen him in much of anything else, but he is so good. And clearly they all like him because he's been on for this long and kind of dribs and drabs. Jeff confides in Alex that Louie is storing food in the tool room. Jeff claims that Louie is convinced that the end of the world is coming, and Louie is turning this room into effectively a fallout shelter.
He's a prepper.
He's a doomsday prepper. That's what we would call them nowadays. They didn't call them that in 1982, but he is a prepper.
We all knew of them, though.
At the time, it was considered a much more extreme way of life.
Oh yeah, but we'd always heard tales of fallout shelters since the 50s, so it's not really that far a stretch, and certainly not the first time they've used this premise on a sitcom.
No, well, and who can forget Grease 2? Let's do it for our country.
The red, white, and the blue.
Someday we'll resuscitate HP Hates Me, and we'll cover Grease 2.
Oh,
on that.
you don't need to hate me. No, 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 no. We'll do that right now.
What, we'll talk about Grease too?
Fuck it, hey man. As soon as we finish here, just keep the fucking thing rolling. We'll just start
We'll keep it
talking.
rolling. We'll do it live. So Louis comes in and he's got a large barrel with with the letters wheat on a hand truck that he's moving into the garage, and
Very
there's a
secretive.
very secretive and very obvious what this thing is. It's like having a jug with the three X's to note that you have like it's some sort of liquor, moonshine.
Hey, what's that burlap sack with the dollar sign on it?
It's like the Scrooge McDuck approach there. So there's a bit of banter, and Alex asks Louis why he's preparing for the end of the world. And Louis, I love this part. Louis gives Jeff this accusatory glare and announces Judas. There's something about somebody calling somebody else a Judas or saying j'accuse. It just delights me, Father Malone. I don't know why, but it never fails.
It's a great accusation. Judas, you backstabber, you traitor, Benedict Arnold.
That's the other one, Benedict Arnold. So then Louis comes clean to the rest of the cabbies. Louis says that he got the idea of the end of the world coming from watching Donahue the other day. Another side note, Father Malone, does anyone listening to this podcast remember the show Donahue?
Only old people are listening to this program, Mr. P.
It's true, but it was such a monster show at the time. Don't you remember? Father
Somebody
Malone?
finally is going to say, let's blame the celibates.
That is an awesome Donahue imitation there. It was for those who aren't familiar with Donahue, it was sort of a mid-afternoon talk show hosted by a guy named Phil Donahue.
Oh my God, they're stripping in the malls. The moms are on drugs. And I can't get enough gas for my car. Can someone tell me what's going on here on Donahue?
His shtick was so ready-made for parody. They used to. It was so popular that Phil Hartman used to do. He used to play Donahue on SNL. They would do
That was
multiple.
the first Donahue bit I did. This Let's Blame the Celibates. That's from Phil Hartman. Remember with Victoria Jackson? Like she was a celibate. She was saving herself for marriage. And then we find out she used to be the little trashiest mattress back.
And really, Donahue sort of paved the way for Oprah. There wouldn't really be an Oprah
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
if there wasn't a Donahue. So that gives you some historical context, folks who don't know who Donahue was. But he was, everywhere at this time. He was so iconic because of his look. He had this like bright white hair and the glasses, and he was
The
always
deepest blue eyes.
yeah. And he was married to Marlo Thomas from
Oh
That
my
Girl.
God, that girl.
That girl, Marlo.
He was
Thomas.
sensitive. He was part of the sensitive movement. He was the tail end of what started with Alan Alda, the sensitive
really
man with a microphone and a tie. And yeah, I mean, he would have the sensationalist topics. And that's what eventually talk shows just became. It just became the sensationalist topics. But 99% of it was the most dull, boring fucking stuff that was important to talk about that nobody was talking about. But at the same time, it wasn't entertaining.
Yeah, he had to cover. I mean, he was doing a show 5 days a week, so he had to cover a lot of material. And the one episode that I remember, and I don't know why this stuck with me, but they were talking about potato chips and the fact that the green potato chips could cause cancer. I don't know why I remember this, but it got through to me as an 11-year-old or whatever I was at the time.
Well, they were talking about something important to you, potato chips, and now you've realized that some of them might end your life.
So to this day, when I'm eating a bag of potato chips and I pull out one that's green, I always have to I have a second of hesitation. Like, would Donahue want me to eat this potato chip? This is not good. So anyway, that Donahue is responsible for Louis, discovering this that the end of the world might be happening, or at least according to Donahue. Tony asks what Louis is really worried about, and Louis says this doomsday prepper on Donahue scared the hell out of him. He says he's afraid of everything. He's afraid of the economy. Louis is afraid of murderers. He's afraid of the police, hamstrung by politicians, all of this stuff. And Lane counters that if all of that happens, no one is going to survive anyway. But Louie says, no, come see what I have cooked up. And he beckons them into his shelter, which used to be the tool room. And they go in. And the tool room, we talk about how much we love the set decoration. I loved this doomsday prep fallout shelter. You go in, it's stocked with all manner of doomsday prep materials. There's pallets of canned food. There's a grain mill. There's like a shortwave radio. There's even radiation-proof suits in the back, Father Malone.
Spacesuits.
Yeah. Well, they're spacesuits, but he calls them radiation-proof suits. So I'll take them.
I don't know why. Like that was available on the Paramount lot at that moment. Like, we need some shiny suits for radiation. Well, we got 4 of these. Like, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. So Elaine is marveling at this and says it must have cost a fortune. But Louis scoffs that, what's a fortune if you're a radioactive pretzel? So he's willing to pony up the cash to save himself. And then Tony's very inquisitive in this episode. It's kind of belying his usual, loudishness, I think.
Can I just say about that and his through line from here on out, I guess it seems, where he has accepted what a dummy he is, and that's kind of a sea change, right?
So he's no longer pushing back on the notion that he's an idiot.
In a moment, they're going to talk about him in the third person in front of him as like a man with a single-digit IQ. And once he finds all that out, he's like, cool.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He's not offended at all.
No, he's not. I think he's accepted his limitations, which is commendable, I guess.
In the next episode, HP, someone's going to ask him if he got dumber, and he considers it for a moment.
That's right. He stops and thinks. So Tony asks Louie why there's 4 cots. There's 4 beds in this fallout shelter. And Louie replies, "You don't think I'd come in here alone, do you?" Louie has handpicked a survival squad to stay with him. He said, and he starts to rattle off who they are. First, he says, is Jeff, who Louie says he needs to convince the quote unquote black hordes that he's cool. And Jeff is like, yeah, all right, that's cool.
No, he says, hey, I'll do what I can.
That's right. He's like, I'll do it. He's unfazed. And then secondly, Louie says there's a cot for Nardo, but she scoffs at the notion. And Louie says, you know what? You'll be begging to join us if there's an apocalypse. And to prove that Louie has learned no lesson from the previous episode where he committed an egregious act of sexual harassment, he whispers a secret dirty password to Nardo that elicits a slap across the face and like a reproach from her.
I'd like us to interview Mary Lou Henner at some point because she can remember everything. I'd like to know what he said to her.
Well, it's interesting. I have seen a collection of bloopers from Taxi, and that was one that I remember seeing. Like there's like 5 takes of her slapping him across the face, and then they're laughing. My guess is he was actually saying something pretty risque.
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be vile, right?
It's got to be. So, yeah, that would be interesting because you're right. She has that amazing memory. She probably remembers exactly.
She would know. Well, the first take, it was this, and then, on and on.
So finally, Alex asks who the 4th member was going to be, and Jim, who's there with them, basically begs to be the 4th member of the group because all of this talk of the apocalypse has him really scared. Tony says, the 4th person must be Alex. And then Louie admits that he considered Alex, but he decided that Alex would vie with Louie for leadership of the group, which is actually true.
Of course. He would instantly become the leader when he came in, and everyone would kick Louie to the side.
Everyone would defer to Alex. Of course they would. He was afraid that Alex is going to vie for leadership. And then besides, Louie says, and Louie can't let this slide without a joke at Alex's expense. So he says that Alex's big honker would suck up all the oxygen in the shelter. And he makes this like this anteater kind of thing. And
he pulls his hands up as if it's all the oxygen in the world going up his nose. Yeah.
Yeah. So but besides, so Louis says he needs an enforcer, someone with a lot of muscle, but a single digit IQ. And of course, Tony has no idea that he's referring to him, but Louis confirms that, I think Alex says, he means you, Tony. And Louis convinces Tony that his Vietnam training would come in handy. And he gives Banta a doomsday pamphlet to read. This is like something,
Take a
if
few
anyone,
weeks.
yeah, he says, yeah,
Take
come back in a
and
few
read
weeks.
this.
Alex poo-poos the suggestion of this doomsday situation, and he's trying to get everybody to go to Mario's. But Louis
At
insists.
8 a.m. Remember they were just fighting with the coffee machine? Okay, let's all go get drunk. Now that we found out about Louis' thing, let's all stop working and go get drunk.
That's right. Who needs to make money? Let's just go to Mario's and just drown our sorrows.
Elaine literally just arrived and was like, what are you guys doing in the coffee machine? Like, it might have been their end of their shift, but what is she going with them for?
It's legit probably like 7:45 in the morning, and they're going to go have beers at Mario's and bad spaghetti. It's
Well, maybe they're
insane.
going for the breakfast. Remember that breakfast buffet is something to behold.
That's right. I forgot about that. Tony says that, hey, it sounds like fun. But then Alex is affronted a little bit, and he gets loud, and he's insisting that it's one thing to talk about Armageddon, but it's another thing to lock yourselves up in a little room. And Alex goes on to say, I'm going to make a bet with you, Louis. Your group wouldn't last 2 days in that bunker. And Louis takes the suggestion and he runs with it. He says, the prep squad will go in over the weekend to the fallout shelter. It's like they're running a drill.
like maneuvers in the army.
Yeah. Well, for one, here's the thing. And I'm burying the lead a little bit, but this was always one of my favorite episodes, Father Malone. Shocker.
When I was a kid, mine too.
And because there's something about the idea that they're going to like play like Doomsday Prep Squad in this place and have all this weird food and
Oh,
pretend.
yeah, it sounds fun. Sounds like a blast for a weekend, you know?
Yeah, it's like being in like a playhouse. Like, hey, we're going to pretend and we're going to lock ourselves in here and we're not going to, we'll emerge in 48 hours. It
We're
just
going
sounded like such
LARPing,
fun.
everybody.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it kind of like. It's proto LARPing, really. I mean, it's grim because we're talking about, a nuclear holocaust, but still.
You could at least make it like an alien invasion and make it fun. Like, they've salted the air with poisons.
The fact that Tony gets excited about it and he's like, yeah, it sounds like fun. That's how I felt too. I was like, yeah, that does sound like fun with your buddies hanging out. It just sounded like a lot of fun to me. So even though this may not be the most consequential episode in the canon, this one delighted me, and it still does even now. They're debating, Tony and Louie and Jeff are trying to come up with the scenario. What's it going to be? Jeff is, my favorite part of this is Jeff suggests earthquake and pestilence. And Tony says, oh no, we don't want to mess with that small stuff. To which Jeff replies, yeah, but earthquakes are bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just something about him going, yeah, they're bad. Like bad meaning good. I just thought it was really funny that Jeff is excited about the notion of an earthquake. That's
Let's
his
do
criteria.
it all, though, HP. Let's do it all.
Let's
It's
do it
an
all.
atomic blast that causes an earthquake and then civil unrest. All right.
That's right. So the three of them excitedly walk off. Maybe they're going to Mario's to talk about it, but they're discussing this drill. And again, the excitement is infectious. I'd be like, yeah, I'll do that. Sure, I'll pretend for a weekend. Why not?
A friend of mine here in Las Vegas, his mom is a prepper.
For real?
Her mom, rather. Yeah.
Wow. Like
Yeah.
she has like a thing like dug into the ground, like a fallout shelter.
Has it all. Is ready for anything.
You've seen this.
Oh, yeah.
Stocked with all the freeze dried and canned goods
Oh, yeah.
and everything.
Which they have to update that shit. It goes bad. Like some of the the MRE type stuff. That'll last 30, 40 years, but a great much of the stock needs to be sort of turned over if it's not being used.
Well, even canned goods, that's not a lifetime,
No.
thing. I mean, we all keep canned stuff in our cabinets and we forget about a lot of it and we go, oh, it's canned, it'll be fine. It's not fine. I mean, at least after a matter of decades, I can tell you that. When I go up north with my brothers, when we stay up there, there's an Army Navy store, an old school Army Navy store that you don't see much nowadays. And they have like a whole aisle filled with MREs and things that you add water to, like, a chicken and pasta that's all dehydrated. And but then there's like a section of, I don't think you even call them MREs, but they're basically like nutrient bars.
Yeah, yeah, that's where we've gotten to. It's like eating Soylent Green.
That's what it is. It's like Soylent Green. I mean, it will keep you alive and give you all of the nutrients that your body needs. But it's like, that scene in The Matrix where they're like, this gives you everything you need to survive. And he's like, it doesn't give you everything you need. It doesn't have any flavor. It's not good. It's not tasty. So I guess, if you want to survive at all costs, sure, maybe the MRE is the way to go, but it's not living, I don't think.
No, but is any of this, honestly? Are we going to discuss this at any point? The whole even notion of prepping, the idea that when society collapses, that these dummies are going to come out and somehow repopulate the fucking earth. No, thank you. Why don't you stay in your hole and let whoever actually survived fucking come out? It's going to be the bugs anyway. You know it. It's true. They're going to be horrifying, but they are going to be organized, and they're going to be waiting for people to come out so they can eat them.
I think maybe the whole idea of Fallout, the game and the TV show and everything, that's probably more prescient than we think. There'll be some kind of evolved cockroach that will, kill everybody. Be giant cockroaches roaming the countryside. Yeah.
We'd be lucky if it turned out to be Fallout. It won't be that. It'll just be these fucking morons and their inbred progeny coming out of these vaults.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, and by the way, just a quick plug of any Fallout fans. Father Malone has a Fallout specific series on the Midnight Viewing channel that you should check out. Who's your co-host, Father Malone?
Nuka Coda Quantum is her name, and the show is Vault 702.
Yes,
Thank
please
you
check
for
it
the
out.
plug. Mid show.
Father Malone is, I've said it before and I'll say it again, he's the hardest working man in podcasts, and I still believe that.
I've evened out. I finally got it too much science. I'm not killing myself anymore. So.
Well, it's quality over quantity now. It's evolved over time.
But no, the quantity remains consistent. It's still 2 shows a week. It's still killing me. But I can do both of those now very easily, and Patreon shows. So I've got a system. I've got an angle.
Got an angle. So we come back to the garage. We fade back into the garage, and Louie comes in. He's wearing sweats. He's ready for his weekend.
Ready for the end.
Doomsday
Sweatpants, sweatshirts. Yeah, ready to go.
As we discussed in the last episode, this was a time when sweats only came in one color, gray, and that's what he's got on. This is Rocky Balboa style, and he declares that he's ready for their weekend, and Jeff confirms that Tony's also on his way. And Alex, ever the sort of doubter in this whole thing, he challenges Louie with this little thought experiment about, like, what if, Louie, there's a little girl banging at your door and she's begging for food, and you're not going to be able to resist that. And Louie bluntly just declares that she's going to be buzzard bait. He seems unmoved by the thought experiment.
Yeah, that's the story every sci-fi writer had been doing since the 50s, right? The little girl outside in the wasteland.
Tony comes in. He's got his full GI uniform on, and for me, Father Malone, I don't know if you took note of this because you're kind of a style guy on this show. It looked a little too form-fitting for me. It kind of made him look like a member of the Village People. It's very tight on him.
I didn't mind that because, maybe the last time he wore it was 10 years ago, and he's much more fit these days because he's a boxer or at least trains as one. And that was fine, except his utility belt, all the pouches on it, like it looked like he just came up. Yeah, it looked like it came off the shelf at a costume shop, like right off, the Paramount lot and onto Tony's waist. And I was like, that's ridiculous. Why do they look so perfect if he had been through the jungles of Vietnam? Like, they're not dinged up at all.
But they at least made sure that the name above the right, like, breast pocket was actually Banta. So that you make the case that it's actually his uniform. Like, it wasn't just some, you could see that it was presumably his.
No, well, that's why that only reflects the wrong-headedness of that utility belt. Because the uniform, I can go, yeah, look, it's a too small uniform and has his name on it. He fought in the jungles. If anything, they forgot his necklace of ears, and clearly the legs should be completely spattered in blood.
But yeah, that utility belt was massive. It was like Batman's utility belt from The Dark Knight Returns, all exaggerated and big and bulky.
Exactly, yeah.
And they wouldn't, like a soldier wouldn't have. They would have like a backpack or something for all of their supplies. They wouldn't have it around their belt. That would just be weird, like a superhero.
He's infantry. Like, what are you doing, man? He's crawling through mud holes.
My issue was it was a little too tight on him, but I guess to your point, maybe he put on a lot of muscle since he was in Vietnam. So that makes more sense, maybe. So anyway, Louie gathers Jeff and Tony and sets the stage for their little experiment. Louie insists they're not going to emerge until 4 p.m. on Sunday. And all the while, Alex is undercutting the seriousness of Louie's drill. But Louie insists, there's a lot of people that feel the same way that he does about the coming apocalypse.
Yeah, but, again, what world are you emerging into?
Well, that's the thing.
You're basically saying, I want to live in this room for the rest of my life. My life is worth living if it can only be in this room with these people.
For the rest of our lives, however short those lives might end up being, or long. I mean, that might be worse.
And can I just say that Sunshine Cab Company is on the island of Manhattan, which is going to be flattened if a nuclear blast is. I don't care how well constructed those old buildings were. There's nothing saving that fucking. The bomb might land on Sunshine Cab Company.
It would be a prime target for a nuclear assault, I think, is what you're saying.
Louie and all of his dried goods are going to be vaporized, is
Pretty
what I'm
much.
saying.
Pretty much. So they go into the room and they lock the door behind them. And inside the bunker, Louie tells them all to man their stations. But as we see, there's really nothing for them to do other than sit around a large barrel in silence. And that's basically what we see here. After a minute or two of not speaking, Tony wonders out loud, like, should they be doing something? And Louie says, yeah, we are. We're surviving. And then Tony asks for something to eat. And Louie pulls out a bag of legumes, he calls them. They just look like freeze-dried potato chips or something.
It looks like styrofoam.
Kind of like like I'm trying to like if anyone's had like those like veggie chips or veggie sticks, they look like they're kind of that material, like airy and probably not very filling.
No, they're too white for that. At least the veggie chips give you a sense of color. There's some red and green in the yellow in there, and this just looks like a white piece of foam that is supposedly gives you enough nutrients. It's the equivalent their equivalent of those nutrient bars you were talking about.
That's right. Yeah, because Louis says this will give you the nutritional equivalent of an egg breakfast. And they start munching on these things that look like styrofoam, and they're all they're not enjoying it, obviously. And then Tony sees that there's freeze-dried ice cream on the wall, and
Didn't we all get excited as kids when freeze-dried ice cream was in the offing?
I loved it. Whenever we would go to the Museum of Science as kids, Father Malone, that we would always come home with a bag of freeze-dried ice cream, and it would always
astronaut ice cream.
So good, man, because it messes with your mind because you're eating it and your brain says this should be cold, but it's not. But it tastes exactly like Neapolitan ice cream. What a memory of that! I loved that as a kid, didn't you?
I was never actually a fan of the freeze-dried ice cream, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, I'm a weird one in that I was never a fan of the flavors of chocolate or the fake flavor of strawberry.
Oh, yeah. I embraced the fake strawberry. I mean, it tastes. It's like having a grape flavored bubble gum as a kid. It tastes nothing like what it's supposed to represent, but it becomes its own flavor. I mean, like watermelon candy doesn't taste anything like watermelon actually does. But some people prefer it over the real thing. So maybe that's the case for me too. I don't know.
Well, what I've found is if anything is sort of so chemical based, like as a flavor, in an attempt to approximate a true flavor, my mind reels in abject horror at that.
Artificial banana flavoring is the worst.
Now, funny you say that because it is the one artificial flavor that I enjoy.
Get out of here. Are you serious?
I'm
This
being
is
totally
unplanned.
straight up with you. Yeah, yeah. I like fake banana flavor. Remember those wafers we would get as kids? The banana flavor. Oh my god, loved them. I know everyone hated them, but I love them. Banana flavored runts. Give me more.
I couldn't embrace banana flavored anything. It just tasted, because I like bananas. I like the actual banana. Maybe that's, I don't know. That's
I
weird.
eat 2 bananas a day, my man. So I like both.
Huh. You remember Bit of Honey? Remember
I
that
love
candy?
Bit of Honey. Are you crazy? It's one of the best.
They still make it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. You never see it anymore. They used to advertise on television. Bit of Honey.
No, it's more niche now. You have to go to like a candy shop, where they have a retro section.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Where you can get like mallow cups or things like that.
Yeah, I just had a mallow cup recently. Delicious.
Really?
I loved
Oh.
it.
Nevertheless, we're talking about survival here, Father Malone. We're talking about them eating freeze-dried ice cream.
Mallow
or attempting
cups
to.
are survival HP.
Mallow cups are good. Charleston Chew. Remember Charleston Chew? I used to love
I
that.
love chocolate. That was my favorite candy growing up.
I mean, strawberry, actually, ironically for me, it was my favorite. Too,
Gross.
growing up.
What is wrong with you?
I loved it, man. What's wrong with you, Mr. Fake Banana Flavor?
That's
Yuck.
good stuff, that fake banana.
I think if you asked 100 people whether they prefer artificial strawberry or artificial banana, I think you're going to get the majority going with strawberry.
Oh, and once again, how many fucks do I give for any of those people and their opinions?
Indeed. So, anyway, Tony is lunged for this freeze-dried ice cream, and Louie, like, it kind of becomes like almost like a parent. He's like, "You will not eat your freeze-dried ice cream until you finish your legumes." Jeff asks for a freeze-dried ice cream vote, and after
See, Louis
Tony-
should have seen the writing on the wall right here. This is now a democracy, and you're going to be outvoted every time, little man.
It's true because Louis doesn't. He's got no leg to stand on because once he's outnumbered, that's it. There's no.
He doesn't have
can't-
the cab company. He can't lord their jobs over them anymore. Now it's just survival. Thanks for bringing us in here. Now we rule the roost.
He couldn't defend himself against Tony alone, let alone Tony and Jeff. It's going to be survival of the fittest. My gut tells me that Tony is the one who's going to be king of the cinder when all of this is said and done. So anyway, he puts it to a vote, and Tony and Jeff raise their hands. But then you see in the back one of the radiation-proof suits starts to raise its hand, and Louis is annoyed and he runs over, takes off the mask, and wouldn't you know it, it's Jim. And Jim says he's been living there for 3 days. He says he's been eating the great food. He's been listening to the shortwave. He's been having a great old time. And then Louis,
Sleeping in these crazy sleeping bags.
these crazy sleeping bags. And Louis tells him he's got to leave. And in the midst of this argument with Jim, Louis has this light bulb moment, and he says, this is actually a good test for the survival group, because this might be a scenario that they're presented with where they have to actually kick someone out. So Louis orders Tony to throw Jim out as a test of Tony's muscle. Tony says, look, it's just Jim. Let's, what's the big deal? And Louis urges Tony to see him not as lovable Jim, but as an interloper that is threatening their very lives. Louis, again, is insisting that they treat this as the real thing and not just a drill. And then Tony, after some hemming and hawing, balks at throwing Jim out into the wasteland, and he refuses to do it. Louis then says, well, fine, I'll do it. And he explains this to Jim that, Jim, look, it's nothing personal, but, it's either us or you, and you're out of here. And Jim agrees to leave of his own volition in exchange for only one thing, and that's one last hug from Louis. And this devolves into a weeping Jim clutching Louis, just begging for his life. And Tony notes that this is kind of like the synopsis of the whole episode. Tony notes that it's not much fun pretending that everybody's dead. And Louie says, well, what if you're not pretending? And Tony sagely replies, well, that wouldn't be much fun either.
Well, here's the moral here. If you're gonna have a LARPing sort of immersive weekend, bring the fucking burnout who can actually believe that he's in the scenario, and they'll act it out fully, and you'll have to fucking deal with consequences.
Louis relents. He calls off the entire drill and he walks outside. And Alex is still sitting at the poker table smugly. He notes to Louis that his apocalypse lasted all of 11 minutes. So Tony and Jeff head
Apocalypse,
out
wow.
to get apocalypse. No. So Tony and Jeff head out to get beers. Tony is still in his village people soldier getup, and Alex pokes some fun at Louis for this whole enterprise. And Louis is really bothered by the fact that he couldn't throw Jim out. He says at the end of it all, he couldn't follow through with his stated objective of surviving. But Alex sees it differently. I gotta say, I found this a little bit too cloying, a little too saccharine coming from Alex. Alex says that Louis couldn't throw Jim out, and Louis would not be able to refuse to help others if and when the time came. He's pontificating that that's where the hope for the future lies, not with radiation suits or shelters, but compassion. This is what Alex is coming back to him with. Alex says, you don't need to fear tomorrow. You can look forward to it. I wrote here, this is a remarkably facile way of looking at this whole complicated situation, especially for the normally pragmatic Alex.
It seems like the end of a 1950s educational film about nuclear war, or about nuclear power. Like, yes, it can be destructive, but it can also be beneficial. Look forward to the future.
Kind of, or even like the end of a Clifford Odets play, where it's like, like I'm a man. Don't you see it? I won't fear the future. I will look forward to it. You know what I'm saying? Like waiting for Lefty.
We've been kicking Clifford Odets for how many years now, you and I?
Like, not enough. I'm going to keep going.
Decades. I'm a man.
That's all. Well, but
that's all you need to say.
That also includes. That's like the Rod Serling thing that he, in Twilight Zone, right? I mean, you went through the whole every episode.
Oh yeah,
how many?
But I guess I was frequently invoking Clifford Odets because it's been so long since I've heard Clifford Odets because it became such shorthand between you and I. Where we just say, "I'm a man."
I'm a man.
And we know the kind of lame-o theater we're talking about.
Like this. That's every Cliff Odets play, which is this like tough bruiser who is completely emasculated through the course of the play, and he's feebly declaring at the end, "I'm a man, don't you see?"
Pounding his chest.
Yeah, with like a wife beater on, don't you see? With like I don't know, it's Cliff Odets. After this sort of speechifying by Rieger, Louis is pretending not to hear, but then Alex does this thing where it's so annoying where he's like, I know you heard, Louis. Look, give me that smile, Louis. I know you heard me. And reluctantly, Louis comes around and he's like, yeah, right. I guess I'm not a bad guy after all. And Alex even goes so far as to insist that Louis is dripping with love for humanity, which is just a terrible turn of a phrase.
Gross.
Very gross. So Alex asks Louis to go to Mario's, of course, because they're not going to go any. It's like that SNL sketch where the hypnotist, everyone is reviewing the hypnotist. It was much better than Cats. I will see it again and again. That's the hold that Mario's has over everybody. Like, is Tommy a hypnotist of the highest order? What's going on here, Father Malone?
He's lacing their beers like with lysine, like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. They don't realize that, but if they don't get that chemical, they'll fucking die.
We used to make this joke about the A-Team and B.A. Baracus, how they always had to drug him to get him to go.
Yeah, at a certain point, he becomes addicted to that. Whatever it is, and he really needs to fly, even though he's terrified. Guys, I really need to fly. I don't know why, because I'm so scared, but I really need it. We're not flying today.
He's physically addicted to the drug that they gave him to keep him flying. Oh, that's so good. Maybe we'll cover that when we do our A-Team podcast, Father Malone. We'll
We
go
will
into the
never do
depth.
an A-Team podcast. We will do a special about the A-Team, but
They leave arm in arm to go to Mario's to get a beer. And as we fade to black, and that's the end of the episode. So now we're going to talk about yellow lights, Father Malone.
What does a yellow light mean?
A reminder, we grade every episode from a scale of 1 to 5 yellow lights. 1 is the worst Taxi episode, and 5 is the best Taxi episode. And it is also our custom. We're going to throw it to you. What do you give I Want to Be Around?
I'm going to give it 3 yellow lights. I think it was a little too treacly and Clifford Odets, like you said. And I think this is a tired premise. I loved this as a kid, obviously, because for the reasons that you stated, it seems like a fun, adventure-y kind of thing to do. But
Yeah.
re-examining it as an adult, it is a grim fucking thing to be doing. And being as cavalier as it is, I don't know, just rubs me the wrong way.
Really? Okay.
But
that's
I appreciate everyone's performance, particularly Christopher Lloyd, who his expressions during the entire time where Banta is trying to throw him out go from crazy to crazier to craziest.
Chris Lloyd is, I can't say he's an underrated physical comedian, but I guess I'm going to say it. Like I feel like he's not often given like his due as a good physical comic. He's
No, because
so
he's
funny.
acting entirely with his face. That's where all the physicality is, and it's fucking incredible. Like everyone gushes about Jim Carrey because he can do that stupid Grinch smile. Like let's see him do Doc Brown, like seeing something horrific going on.
She's so fantastic here. Now, but what's interesting is I gave this episode 5 yellow lights, Father Malone. For me, this is a nice small scale episode that's really funny. It's got some cast breakouts that we don't normally see. Like how often do we see Tony, Louie, and Jeff broken out into their own little group and they have a little, nice little scene together in the fallout shelter.
I give you that.
And I love we talked about this already a lot, but I love this little mini adventure of the fallout drill that they kind of embark upon. It's just, for me, I hear what you're saying, and intellectually I might agree with a lot of what you're saying about how grim the episode is, and maybe through adult eyes it might not hit the same way as it does as a kid, but I can't get away from the fact that it's one of the most rewatchable episodes in my opinion. It makes me laugh every time, and I can kind of look past. I make fun of Alex for the treacly nature of his monologuing at the end. It doesn't hurt my enjoyment of the episode. So,
well, let me just say, so you're giving it 2 yellow lights for nostalgia?
Well, no, because Jeff is really good too. He has some great moments.
You know what? You're giving it 4 yellow lights and 1 for nostalgia, then.
Maybe. I guess if you need to break it down that way, maybe.
I do.
That's fine. Here's the thing. Ultimately, the light system is a means of recommending or not recommending an episode to people listening to this podcast. I'm saying.
I know, and I'd like to clarify that a perfect score in this case might be a little clouded.
You're impugning my.
Yes, I am, because 5 yellow lights means a perfect episode of Taxi.
You're killing me, Father Malone. You're
just
killing
saying.
me.
That's why we have 5 and not 4 for the best episode, so we can make that distinction.
You know what? Actually, you've convinced me. I'm going to do what I don't often do. I'm going to take 1 yellow light away. I'm going to make it a 4 yellow lights. I guess that feels a little better, given the fact that I can't go back on my previous criteria for a perfect episode, which is the whole cast has to be kind of involved in some way, shape, or form. And in this case, I mean, Elaine's not really in it that much. We don't really see Latka. Obviously, Bobby is nowhere to be found. So I guess maybe you convinced me. I'm going to give it 4 instead. 4 is still a really good score. It's just not perfect. objectively perfect.
You know that had Andy Kaufman been available that week, Jeff wouldn't have gotten a part.
I don't think he would have hit the same way with Latka, though.
I think it would have hit in a much funnier episode had that been Latka in there. But I guarantee you that it was written originally for. They were like, wait, who's left? Because Elaine definitely wouldn't go in there, and neither would Rieger. Like, I guess Jeff. But I guarantee you the thought was, let's do Latka, and he was like, nope, not working that week.
No, you might be onto something there. Maybe that might actually explain why they kind of took a previously kind of minor character and promoted him for this episode. I still like it. I still am delighted by Jeff being in this, but
oh yeah,
I guess that's an interesting what if nothing else.
And in solidarity, HP, for your nostalgia, I will give this one more yellow light. I will give this 4 yellow lights.
Oh, so it actually balances out. You gave it 3 and I gave it 5. Now we give it 4. It's still an average of 4 yellow lights. Why not?
I also remember this. I remember laughing fucking hysterically when the spaceman put his hand up because he wanted ice cream. So on that basis, I will give it a yellow light as well.
And I like the idea that this whole scene has been going on for like 5 minutes, and Christopher Lloyd has just been sitting stock still in the costume, like waiting for his cue to raise his hand.
Clipped in there. Do you notice?
Oh yeah, he's hung up on the wall, right?
Yeah, there's a wire there, and with a little like eye hook clipping him in, so he's just like leaning off of the wall in the suit.
Interesting. Do you suppose that the studio audience is privy to the fact
Yes.
that he's in that costume? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was kind of wondered.
They
that.
watched him come out and get clipped onto that wall, and if they didn't, no, they would have to. Like he wasn't going to be there that long.
That's true. That's
and in
true. But
between
anyway,
takes, I'm sure they're like, "Hey, you okay in there? I need some water." You know.
yeah. So it's a cute episode. Maybe I gave it a little too much cachet because of my own personal feelings, but ultimately, look, 4 yellow lights from myself, 4 from Father Malone. This is a good time. This is a fun episode compared to some of the ones that we've reviewed in the last few weeks. This is the cream of the crop. So that'll do it for this episode of Night Mr. Walters. Father Malone, where can folks find you when you're not clocked into the garage?
I do a show called Midnight Viewing. HP does a lot of them with me, as does Mike White from the Projection Booth and Nuka Coda Quantum. We mentioned her at the 702 show there. It's on the Patreon channel. Go to patreon.com/Father Malone. Everything's there. You can get all the free stuff there, too. So it's not like you have to pay for anything that's not readily available on Spotify or any of the podcatchers or whatever the fuck you listen to.
Mm-hmm.
I tried not to curse so much in this episode out of reverence for James Burrows.
James Burrows.
I just ruined it.
That's okay. I'm sure he would appreciate us talking about, because this was one of his many episodes he directed, and it's a good one. So for myself, as Father Malone said, I do a lot of work with him on his fests. We're in the middle of Von Doom Fest, which is covering the MCU and related properties, which has been great. Go check that out. I also host the Noise Junkies Music Podcast, and I have a Bandcamp site, hpmusicplace.bandcamp.com. So thanks again for listening. Please feel free to subscribe to the podcast, write a review, rate us. We'd love to hear from you. The email address here for us is hpmusicplace@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you again next time.
Night, Mr. Walters.